Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Bakhair agale, ni hao, tune shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bhalli karaya. And thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning. So the very fantastic, amazing, superb, and a person with a warm heart, ladies and gentlemen. She happens to be Miss Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking, and it's a lovely morning over here. How are you doing?
I think I'm doing absolutely fine, but I guess it's just the weather that whenever, it's about time that you really have to wake up. No matter how hard your mom's going to bang the door, you just feel like staying under the razai.
I
think it
swear.
sounds better, or the quilt as well. And I think there's one more thing in this weather, and that is that no matter how, for how long you're going to sleep, but you still feel more sleepy when you wake up.
I
Does
agree.
that happen to you?
It does, and actually, for some reason, I slept so early last night, even before my bedtime. Like, can you imagine around 8:30 or something? Maybe I was like really exhausted.
I think you might have worked hard, yeah.
Probably.
What were you doing?
I was, well, just general stuff, that everyday stuff, but I guess it was happening for so many days that I was super exhausted.
How do you refer to everyday stuff? That's what I wanted to ask.
Okay, so as you know, I am a part-time TV anchor and a part-time housewife. as well.
Mashallah, that's good.
So definitely there's a lot of
So
stuff.
there was a
that
lot of cooking, cleaning,
Yes,
house
and then
chores.
there's guests and stuff,
Wow.
mashallah, so a lot
Wonderful.
of. I just crashed around 8:30 and woke up this morning. And when my alarm rang, I woke up, I was like, you know what, I still want to sleep more. I don't know where the lethargy is coming from, but it is.
So you must be feeling great. And I think my mom was today early in the morning. I think she was very thankful because just yesterday she actually overheard me on the phone saying to somebody that I won't be able to come. And she thought that, I was actually in conversation with people at work. And, just in the morning she was like, hey, do you want to go? And I was like, I have to go. What do you mean, but do you want to go? She was like, you were telling somebody that you don't have to go. I was like, that's a different story and this one's a different one. So I just woke up and made sure that I'm going to make it to work. And I feel absolutely perfect, stunning.
Yeah.
And it's because of the fact that, God forbid, if there's a day when I miss out on work, Shiza, I just don't feel great about myself.
I feel like the calibration is out for me. I don't know how else to explain it. I swear, I mean, because it's a morning show and our job literally starts when all of you are sleeping. I mean, it sort of sets a tone for our day. It sets discipline for our day and, sorts of tells our mind that, okay, the day has started, go get everything you want to. So whenever we don't come to work or we don't have to on the weekend, I mean, the calibration of the day is totally out.
Yeah, it is. And no matter what happens, I will still wake up at like, 7:30 or 8 a.m. in the morning, even if I do not have to go to work. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people who are getting up and making sure that they're going to make their way to Murray. Well, we actually have a news update for you because everybody wants to see the snow of this season. Almost 50,000 cars, ladies and gentlemen, have entered Murray against a parking slot of 4,000. In a recent snowfall, administration wants tourists to follow rules. Following 3 inches of snowfall in Murray, the Rawalpindi government has issued a travel advisory for tourists visiting the city to enjoy the weather. The Deputy Commissioner Rawalpindi asked tourists visiting Malkai Kosar to closely adhere to recommendations in order to minimize traffic bottlenecks on the highways.
There's
as
also
the town,
a helpline, right?
Yeah, as the town only has parking capacity of 4,000 automobiles, while 50,000 cars have entered Murray thus far.
Imagine with a space of only 4,000 and that's what, even 10 to 20 times more than the actual space as well.
10
Way
to
more
20,
than that.
I think
you know
it's
what, I'm
just
wrong in that
400,
math.
500 times.
It's absolutely insane. But yes, for all of those people out there, do stay safe. We do realize it's the winter vacation going on. And I feel like after a long time, a lot of family members must have taken days off together, right? Otherwise, it's either the students who are at vacations, it's either the parents who have their days off, but now everyone does. So they're all planning to do something.
We're on winter vacations. We do not get any vacations. Maybe Eid, maybe Chandrat, maybe New Year's, maybe anything. And we love it. We're not
Yeah, we're
complaining
not
early
being
in the morning.
thankless.
We love it to be over here as well, and it's great. But other than that, I think that humans all over the globe are doing a wonderful job. Imagine. So earlier we have had 7 continents, right? And now they're saying that we have an 8th one as well. Wow.
Oh,
So,
wow.
let's take a look at which the 8th continent is. Which of Come on, let's take a look.
All
Can
right,
we
so
please have the
it's-
picture?
And Shazad, can you imagine? They are saying, of course, after the records and all, about 375 years ago, this continent used to be a thing, of course. Now it's extremely underwater, most of it. The remnants of the continent, some of it above as well. But only now they're realizing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. Super
After
interesting.
375
What is it
years,
called, though? Is it
Abel
Zealand?
Tasman, an experienced Dutch sailor with a prediction for harsh justice, was certain that a massive continent existed in the southern hemisphere and was resolved to find it in 1642. He accepted that he had found the extraordinary southern landmass clearly, but it was clearly not the commercial nirvana he had visualized, and afterwards he didn't return. Where did he go? I think he's just living on the continent.
Whenever that was. But yes, interesting news, right?
Yeah.
And just
while
yesterday, Shazad, we were talking about how every other day new science discoveries are coming up, and especially in terms of, finding and refining older stuff, excavations, maybe fossils, maybe, and now this entire continent.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
I
happening.
mean, they even came up with, a dinosaur egg, which was
Yes.
perfectly preserved
And
as well.
I had my doubts about it, to be honest, but yeah.
Well, we might even have our doubts about this continent as well, because the guy never came back. So I don't know who kind of shared the news. But other than that, okay, I think this is today we have this opportunity to kind of remind ourselves about the other 7 continents. So I'm going to name a few.
Okay.
And then let's see.
Do
So
one
whatever,
each.
No, so whatever I miss out on, you have to tell us about that
Okay.
one. Okay. So there's North and South America, then there's Europe, then there's Asia, then there's Antarctica, then there's Africa. Okay. What are the other 2? Please go ahead. Help me.
Antarctica, you done?
Yeah.
Arctic? You know what? I'm really bad at this. Asia, we done?
Yeah, Asia we done as well.
Okay.
So all right,
super.
things like these can actually happen, and I think that it is for us to, kind of go and Google and look at all
And
the
you know
7
what? I
continents.
don't feel bad about it anymore because even though I did learn this in the school, 7 continents, but now the history has changed, right? 8 continents, so it's
Yeah.
okay. I learn.
All right, well, that's wonderful. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking about continents, no matter wherever you go in all the 7 continents which have already existed for all of us as well, Pakistanis actually have made sure that they're going to set milestones or probably achieve their milestones, may it be any other continent on this planet. Even if they'll have to go to long distances, they will go to make sure that they become successful and they bring back pride and honor to Pakistan.
Absolutely.
Such is the story of 2 amazing gentlemen who are with us over here in the studios. But what we are going to do is, since we are a morning show, we want to ask about life outside Pakistan.
And Shazad, one thing, it's very common, everyone says that no matter where you go, regardless of the continent, country, whatsoever, fir bhi, dil hai Pakistani.
Fir bhi dil
Is it true though? Because we see a lot of people just settling there, creating their own lives. Then what does it mean? Agar dil hai Pakistani, to wapas aa jaye.
Yeah,
Let's ask them.
I think dil hai Pakistani. Nobody's saying wapas aaja Pakistani. So I think it makes a difference.
Right.
And whatever it takes to achieve your dreams, I think everybody should do that. May it be going outside the country, outside your house, outside your city. And it's just like, when we say dil hai Pakistani means that, for example, that I lived in Karachi for more than 5 years, right? And as soon as I landed back in Islamabad, the place where you grew up with your friends, that chai ka dhaba, those people who you want to, see every single day, it's that longing when you call Dil Hai Pakistani, where, probably somewhere, if you're based in Sialkot, going to your perfect childhood places as well, and that too with your friends.
Nice.
Those are the memories people want to live. And today, today we're, ladies and gentlemen, actually going to ask you about that every now and then, because I think in Punjab, there's a larger turnover of people who actually leave for abroad to make sure that they work and have greater opportunities to earn and have a very sustainable career or a path where they can actually make sure that support their household back home in Pakistan and look after their kids. But eventually, alhamdulillah, all of these Pakistanis are so blessed. Almost 90% of the people turn out to be very successful, take good advantage of those opportunities, create opportunities for themselves and become an example. So after every 4 or 5 years, you will receive a call, Hanji Maji, main petrol pump le liya, ya, I have a restaurant chain. And it makes you feel so great, ladies and gentlemen, that you really want to thank all of these people for putting in all the hard work, because towards the end of the day, Pakistan is being honored by all of this hard work being put together as well. So without any further ado, we're very lucky once again that we have been joined by somebody who happens to be the chief organizer of Pakistan Overseas Forum. He's an American businessman with energy sector background, President Sunflower Energy USA. He is Mr. Arfan Ahmed. Jiwa Sahab, hello sir, assalamu alaikum, good morning, welcome back.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you for having us once again, and your viewers Thanks. Good morning here and good evening in USA and the rest of the world. And thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. It's wonderful to have you once again as well. Alongside Mr. Shah Saab, ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky that we've actually been joined by another Pakistani American businessman who happens to be Mr. Arfan Ahmed. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam. Good morning. Thank you for having us, Shahzad and Shahzad. I mean, it was very early morning, but we slept very late last night, and then we had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wonderful.
And our time over there is 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's
about 10:30. So thanks.
Well, thank you actually for waking up early in the morning.
Yeah, we have to actually adjust our sleep.
Yeah.
Hours and stuff when you travel, so it's all always upside down, so.
And both of you gentlemen actually look dapper and handsome as well.
Thank
so, you guys
same to you. As always, you guys are so graceful, always.
Thank you so much. So here's the thing, gentlemen, just yesterday as well, we had some amazing panel of guests over here who were definitely expats, but we discussed the challenges that they were facing.
Yeah.
Since we did that already, we're not going to do that today. Of course, you're open to sharing all your challenges if you still have any grievances, for sure. But I want to talk about, or rather begin the conversation with how you personally are making sure that you conserve the Pakistani culture there, maybe in your family, maybe in the Pakistani society you have there. How do you do that? How do you make sure?
And before you do that, we actually want to kind of know that when was it that you left Pakistan? Why did you leave Pakistan? And how long did it take you guys to build an empire over there to be recognized as Pakistani American businessmen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long journey.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, but there was a childhood, university time, and you want to adventure different, my parents, they want me to do CSS, and be a basically afsar, that's what we call, but FC College, and then, we started, a few friends traveled abroad for education purposes, and, same,
Stayed back.
he said, this is amazing, so let's, have some change. So we never knew, it was, early age, so we tried and, went abroad, get educated ourselves, and then, slowly done all those things, it wasn't, in a golden spoon or something, so we struggle, we step up slowly, and alhamdulillah, I'm talking about all overseas Pakistani, when they go, they struggle, they fell, they get up again, and then, start all over again, and alhamdulillah, we try. With the good education, we had all the tools, and we kind of integrated in that system, so, and the system helped us to excel, which, I'm not complaining, but we should, have the same kind of system where everybody have a same chance to excel and
equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity, definitely. So, alhamdulillah, with the behind the education struggle, after a young man, 19 years old, left, and now he's a 50-plus-year man, sitting here and telling people how I made this, kingdom of my business and stuff, So, alhamdulillah, I mean, we were talking earlier how we can benefit Pakistan, but we are here to deliver. Wow. This is the time, to give back to our homeland, and alhamdulillah, we are doing it our best in capacity. So.
That's wonderful. And I think Shiza's question still stand where she actually asked you how to make sure that you keep your culture intact as well, because with your offsprings, with your kids,
right.
And them being born somewhere where people do not really share the same norms and the culture, obviously it's a difficult task for parents. So what about that?
Yes. Absolutely, any Western countries, it's a daylight and dark, it's a two, so, but we have to separate those norms and have to step up as a parents. So parenthood is kind of a little difficult jobs up there, but alhamdulillah, we did it, mashallah, our kids are Pakistani American, so they know where they belong, their roots, they know, Islamic values, Pakistani values, culture values, but we give them the tools, we give them a freedom, but freedom comes with the responsibilities, so we always, when they go to school, my wife, our mothers, the kids, they always, better go, do your best, but don't forget You
Yeah.
know, you are a Muslim kid.
Yeah.
So because there is a peer pressure in schools in early years, so you have to tell what we learned. But alhamdulillah, we were born and raised here, so we have already training. So we apply those training on the kids. So and sometimes they don't like it because we want them at home. We want them to be a Pakistani, but when they go to school, so they are American or British or whatever. But we manage both culture very tightly, and alhamdulillah
I think it's wonderful. So let's
Yeah.
move on to Irfan Sahib as well. So Irfan Sahib, when did you leave Pakistan? How old were you? And what goal did you had in your mind? And do you think after 2 or 3 decades, whatever you went for, you have achieved it?
Actually, I went to USA with my parents.
Wow.
I was very young. I was 16 years old
Mashallah.
in 10th grade.
A very tender age.
And my mamu, he went to USA in like late 60s.
Wow.
So he sponsored us. We all had we were immigrants.
Wow.
And alhamdulillah, our parents went with us, but parents came back, but we stayed there. And me and my brother,
Yeah.
we were, mashallah, I went to school, I went to college, got my education, got into business, and alhamdulillah, we are very successful business people over there.
Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
And it's wonderful to know as well. But sir, when you went while you were 16 years old, obviously, dil to bachcha hi hota sir. So when you go to a place of such sort, you really want to kind of check out the newer cultures, meet new people. So there's always this, I don't know how to put it, but parents would always be scared of whether you will be under bad influence or not. So for somebody who was 16 years old, getting into the education system and then becoming so successful, there might be something which always stood by you, or you stood by it, that okay, that you really need to have this firm character and personality to make sure that whatever your focus is on, it stays on it as well.
My focus was, my parents said, go to school, get your education, and we were not focusing anything else. just go to school,
Yeah.
come home, and our weekend there was a job. So I had no other time.
Yeah.
And then I got married. I came back to Pakistan and got married here in
And
Pakistan.
that's where I want to stop you. So imagine, because you went with your parents,
Yes.
I'm very sorry that I'm asking you a very personal question, sir, but how old were you when you got married?
21, 22.
21, all right.
22
So-
maybe, 22.
22. So after 7 years of being in USA,
Uh-huh.
your parents asked you to come back to Pakistan so that we can get you married, Irfan. Please, aaja yaar,
Yeah,
tera
yeah.
biyah karna hai.
Yeah.
So what went through your mind? Were you like, it's better for me to kind of get married over here in USA or go
No,
back
no.
to Pakistan?
I always wanted to come back to Pakistan and get married.
Wow.
Even though it's been 36 years,
Mashallah.
and I almost come at least once a year.
Mashallah.
And I come and stay here in Pakistan 1 month, sometime 2 months. I used to bring my kids, but now, mashallah, they are grown up.
Mashallah.
They are into their education. I mean, their education is almost finished, so they are busy, but I still come, and my wife comes too.
Wow.
That is
So,
brilliant.
alhamdulillah, I mean, we still love Pakistan as well. So, jaise kehte hain na, the Pakistan is my heart
Yeah.
and
My soul.
my soul, yes.
Wow.
course.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And just listening to these stories is actually sort of painting us a picture of the Pakistaniyat inside you guys, definitely. So now you tell me, after this entire, more than struggle, it's now an entire life for you where you made your name abroad, and now you're accepted there, of course, respected. You've made a name for Pakistan too. And whenever you get a chance to come back, how must it feel? Now there are two options. Either you miss it, in which case I'm assuming over here that, well, I'll let you answer that. Either you miss it, or either, there are some grievances, like I said yesterday, people were mentioning the challenges they have. They want to come back and change the entire system for the coming generations. You don't necessarily have to feel these things, but what are the feelings you have when you think about coming to Pakistan?
Yeah, definitely. It's all Pakistan is always a welcoming place, because where we grown up, so those street, towns, mahallas, so it's always to go and revisit those places, I'm sure those things are changed a lot. Lahore changed a lot. Gujranwala, Bandi, Sialkot, Islamabad
Bhadia,
even,
yeah,
so
yeah.
changed so much. But still, where I grew up, I love to go there. It's always people are very welcoming. So I'm not a strange to the society. So if you keep coming and bringing more expertise, that's what I want to do, So keep bringing something, which we are lacking here, So it's not education. There is plenty of educated people, but the right system, honest system, straightforward system, one operation window. That's what we want to see, because in the USA, if you need to start a business, you don't have to go and get in line, or you don't need ministers to be on your side or MPA on your side. You just pick up the phone, call, or online, you register your company. Next day you are right in.
Exactly. And you can even apply for loan from the bank as well. I mean, I think that's great, and this is something I bear witness to, with my own eyes, because before the show, sir, I was mentioning to you that one of my friend who lives in LA had a cart business, perfume carts, all over in different malls as well. So what he did was he applied for loans from different banks as well, and they were happy to give it to him, and that's in 2 or 3 working days of you filling the form as well, which is great. So there are greater opportunities. And we want to talk more about that. But sir, now I have a question for Arfan Sahab first, and then you can answer. And that is that what I have seen is that if you go to for example, different villages of Punjab, maybe Mandi Bahaldeen, maybe Paliyan, maybe Gujarat, elsewhere, wherever you go. So there's a larger community of people who actually went abroad, maybe Europe, maybe US, UK, elsewhere, Norway, for that reason. But what I have seen is that eventually after 5 years, 10 years, they obviously start sending money in to buy land for themselves, and that's where they want to retire. And it's a beautiful thing. But sir, for somebody who might not even come back, why do you think that it's important for them? And it's a fierce competition in between, itna raqba mera hai aur itna raqba uska hai. It's a very fierce competition. Why do you think you guys keep on purchasing land over here back in Pakistan, when you know that you might not even be able to come back? But is it to tell other people that you're successful now, or is it just like that? So I'll start from Sarifan.
I am also from village Kotproya. It's in district Gujranwala.
Yes.
And people, they just want some backup too. So if you retire, as you want to come back, and maybe you want to spend rest of your life here. So that's what it is. It's not a show off. I don't think so.
Sir, I will share the sentiment. So this is how the sentiment is in the villages. Just for all of those Pakistanis who are out there, I think they will understand it. If they understand how I'm going to share it. Char parasi, bar gene, aaj mashla rakbe nahi. Things like that. That's how they speak in the villages as well. And since I've been to all of that land, which has been acquired by people living abroad as well, and it's massive, alhamdulillah, and they kind of look after it. But the only challenge, because you spoke about one window operations as well, the only challenge is that they keep on buying land. They have a trustworthy gentleman over here who looks after everything. But as soon as they're about to come back, they get the news, hey, what land? What are you talking about? So how do you cater to issues of such sort as well? Because ex-Pakistanis, I think this is one of the most major issues they're facing at the moment.
Yeah, there's absolutely. You elaborated very well, So those complaints, because we have a overseas organization. In a lot of cases, we deal on a regular basis, and 99% people from the family, they, I'm sending money from abroad, and they, buy this land, this house, and after 10 years or 20 years, you come back and you ask your brother or your relatives, where's my big bungalows is, He said, what bungalow are we talking about, We spend that money on family maintenance and stuff, so they'll give you a merry-go-round, so, it's never, but things are changing because everything is, the PTA government worked to bring everything digitalized, everything computerized. So land record are coming to digitalize. So I can log in wherever I'm sitting. So I can look at, where's my boundaries are, where's my house is, where's those rakbas are, my rakbas are, I was, in my imagination, I was sending money, and he said, they're buying, So finally, they are, getting under control, but there are still a lot of, people having this issues, because there was a Patwari system, and those Patwaris, mashallah, they are everybody's, whoever paid them, they are their best friend, So,
And which is why I said, this is something I believe is important to talk about, that, just yesterday you gentleman met the Commissioner Gujranwala division as well, and
Right.
then he actually spoke about the overseas house. Would you mind letting us know a
Yes,
little bit
absolutely.
about that?
I will.
And how will it help all of these issues and grievances?
Yes, I mean this is a kind of a first drop in the river, but but I think the gentleman Zulfikar Ghuman Sahab, Commissioner Gujranwala, he explained us, but we are going to visit him once more before we leave. The concept behind this Gujranwala division is overseas Pakistani comes, they don't know if they have an issue where to go to, if they be going different MPAs or something, so it's they're running around. They have a few weeks for vacation or time, family time. So they will, and the people who grab their land they already knew, because those people will not last more than a month. So what Commissioner Gujranwala did, so they called have a building, name, they give them a name, overseas house.
Wow.
So you go there, it's kind of one window, you go there, there is a, officer on duty, you have a desk, you have a, sitting place, so basically
So you will be heard.
He want to dignified overseas Pakistani, whatever we are contributing. So he said at least at least we can do when somebody comes, they can sit down here and we can facilitate them, so whatever the complaint they have, even regarding WAPDA, agriculture or whatever, so they can, so at least they will offer you a tea, they will offer you help, if they need to, and they will expedite. So this is the kind of model we want in every district, every tehsil, or tehsil headquarters.
Overseas house.
This
what
is,
and you're not even
it's
asking
very
for
unique.
quite a lot, yeah.
It's a very unique thing, and really, those kind of officers are pride of Pakistan. So they, who knows, those people, overseas Pakistani, everybody's saying, they are our, crown of, they are the backbone of the economy and stuff. But when you put it something practical, this is, wind up, you have an overseas house, because we. Under overseas forum, we are doing a lot of welfare work, but this is definitely, credit goes to Commissioner Gujranwala.
Alhamdulillah. I think to all of those people who are in civil service, I guess, because they truly do look after not just the economy, but the entire country as well. Yeah.
Of course. And, where you said that you need to be recognized, of course, there's no doubt. And our Premier keeps recognizing your efforts of, of course, adding to the economy of the country. No doubt in that. But towards the end, sir, I want you to wrap up this segment first of all. Talk about if there are some underlying issues that you want to talk about in this segment, and then specifically, how we were saying that PTI created a lot of ease in terms of sending money from overseas, or even now buying a car, buying a car, or even buying a house online with an app, right? And which is going to take care of all the trust issues that you guys have.
Absolutely.
What are some of the other things that you want to be solved this way? You, sir, please.
Arfan sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, those are very legit questions, we want to make sure our overseas Pakistani, when they leave US, UK, or wherever, when they plan to come back here, so at least they have a kind of recognition, not, they don't need a medal, they need a dignified place where they can sit down, they can ask questions. One window operation, I just said, so some people, in our blood, in my generation, we want to retire here, we want to come back, so same, because I don't know, if we don't visit, our kids are not going to visit, so we definitely want investment to come here. If we come, so kind of a trustworthy, environment, where, alhamdulillah, PTA government is I think, in my lifetime, the first government who encouraged, overseas Pakistani to bring their investment, their investment is protected. So, I don't know, our segment is still there, but I definitely have a message, which I want to convey,
Sure.
from overseas Pakistani. So whoever's listening, wherever you live in the world, all overseas Pakistani, no matter which party you are, but I want you to adopt one family in Pakistan, because this is the poverty elevation concept. At least we called 9 million or whatever we are. If we can adopt even one family in Pakistan, no matter it's in your family or whoever the poor you see, adopt one and make sure Pakistan will change. Definitely, we met Prime Minister, and his concept is we will facilitate you, no matter what it takes. We'll bring you in mainstream politics. Voting right is already approved. Inshallah, coming election, overseas Pakistani going to be a big force. They will be a decisive force. So this is the time. Overseas Pakistani, I want you to assure you this government will be helping you whatever you need, but you need to step up. You need to stand behind this Prime Minister. This is your chance. So please, I urge you to drop whatever you're doing. Listen to your Prime Minister, and next year and a half are critical. I know things are in a different way, but don't go in propaganda. Just stand behind this Prime Minister, this government. Inshallah, overseas Pakistani will change this Pakistan
Inshallah,
for the better.
And alongside overseas Pakistanis, the Pakistanis who live in Pakistan are going to do that too as well. It's wonderful. So just a very quick yes or no, sir, before actually wrapping up this segment, and that is, I'll ask Arfan sir first. Since you, after 7 years of staying in USA, got back to Pakistan to get married, do you expect the same, or will you be happy to kind of accept a Gori Bahu or a Gora Dabad? A yes or a no?
And no.
No. All right. What about you, Shah Sahab?
Yeah, definitely. I'll reserve my observation, but let it do. Pakistan Zindabad. So there is plenty of Bahus, beautiful place to get married. So, what can I say?
I think that's wonderful. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Wonderful to be in conversation with such amazing people who've done a great job for a lot of Pakistanis outside Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. And we are here. So this platform is for you. Whenever you're here, please make sure that you take out time to join us as well. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, since the weather is getting really very chilly as well, so I think it's about time that we're going to talk about how chilly it's going to get in the near future. And why is it getting so chilly? Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I just saw a video this morning of some place in Europe, of course, with -13 temperature. But it was a cute video, actually. Maybe I'll share it in the next segment. A bubble was freezing with snowflakes, and it was a slow-mo time lapse of it. Well, that made me really think. Every other year we talk about how colder or how hotter it is getting. It's not in our control anymore, but it was at one point.
Yeah.
How far have we come? Is there any point of reversal in climate change? Is what we'll talk about right after this short break. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning.